Welcome all to Off the Cuff with Namrita. Hope you are having a fabulous morning. And I'm really looking forward to talking to my guest today. And because he knows a lot about the tech industry and the AI revolution. And I'm just glad that I'm talking to a human right now because in the near future, I don't know, I might have an AI agent, that I have to talk to. So, warm welcome, Mahesh Thakur, to Off the Cuff.
Thank you, Namrita. It's such a pleasure to be here. Honored to be here with you. And for sure in the future, at least if not on your show, at least I'll send the agent to go park my car for me.
Okay, good idea in downtown San Jose. And a little bit about Mahesh M. Thakur. He is a leadership and AI coach with decades of large tech experience. He is a pioneering force in AI, from his impactful role at Microsoft AI to establishing himself as an AI product leader and general manager, a certified board member from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. Mahesh holds 2 patents in AI-powered search and e-commerce and has significantly advanced the AI and ML landscape. That is machine learning, if I'm not wrong.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mahesh coaches techies and business owners in the areas of leadership and AI. Currently, his blend of technical acumen and visionary leadership extends to his roles as a visiting lecturer at NYU and Columbia University, where he continues to shape the next generation of leaders in technology and business. So wonderful to have you. I think I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm sure my audience will too. So, as I can see, you are a sought after coach. So tell me briefly about your journey into the tech industry, and now with the scenario changing so quickly, with the AI coming in, any challenges that you faced?
Sure. The journey has been very rewarding and of course filled with both challenges as well as great opportunities.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity to be at Microsoft as a product manager. I've worked at Intuit, Amazon, and most recently I was a vice president at GoDaddy.
Okay.
And during this time, I have seen a huge shift in terms of how technology has evolved and how it is being applied across industries and within what you see, not just the tech companies,
Yeah.
but across different industries like healthcare,
Yeah.
manufacturing, supply chain, logistics. You can start to see the application of AI. And one of the challenges that I'll zoom in on is during my time at Microsoft. So when I joined in 2005, the search market share that Microsoft had was like 3.4 or 3.5%. And back in the day, you may recall there was something called MSN Search. MSN Search was popular, and then it got rebranded to Live Search. And we spent several millions of dollars as Microsoft trying to get the search market share. And guess what? Google at that time was a dominant player. Google was number 1, Yahoo was number 2, and Microsoft was a distant number 3. And we made several investments, including trying to buy out Yahoo for like $44 billion, which you may remember failed.
I know, I remember, yes.
Yeah. So at that time, the challenge again was how do we go from number 3 to potentially number 2 or 1? Bill Gates was personally involved in some of these strategic initiatives as it relates to consumer search or search, which is still a huge market. And
It is.
yeah, when in 2008, 2007-8 timeframe, Satya Nadella became the senior vice president for the division. It was called the Online Services Division. So you could think about search and advertising as a significant portion of that division. And at that time, I had the opportunity to drive several search-related initiatives. And these initiatives, each one of them would be called experiments.
Okay.
Because we would hypothesize what would make the consumer feel better about coming to Bing or Microsoft Search and not go to Yahoo or Google.
Okay.
And that's the time we made investments. So if I told somebody in 2008 I was working on AI, I would sound like I'm way far
What
out
is
there.
that? Yeah.
So we basically ended up calling it machine learning models or ML.
Okay.
And there were hundreds of machine learning models that we were launching and testing every single month at Microsoft. That was the kind of investment we made. And fast forward 2010, 11, where we continue to make changes, do experiments. We found Microsoft online search or search market share was over 12%. And the combined share of Microsoft Yahoo, which was a syndication program that we launched, was 27%. So we definitely got to the top 2 rank. And a lot of that was the initial investment we made boldly at Microsoft. And of course, presenting to Satya in one of those meetings was a highlight of my career at Microsoft.
Yeah. Amazing story, I have to say. And this is obviously related to what's going on now. So you were way ahead. And obviously, it's a fast-changing scenario. Every day there's and all the top companies are, racing to win the AI race.
They are.
So, but I'm coming, obviously, to the tech scenario and the non-tech. I was listening to that author and the historian Yuval Noah Harari. He's a author also, and he was talking about AI, and he said, suddenly now, the scene is changing from organic beings to inorganic beings. Which I felt was so true. Earlier on, the entire industry was dealing with human resource and human potential. Now it's inorganic, it's AI. So there's a lot of, conjectures about it, and a lot of unknown stuff about it. So. So what are the common misconceptions people have about AI's role in leadership, and how can we shift perspectives, because you've been doing it for quite some time, so maybe something that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so I would start by saying that there are a lot of doomers about AI, and then there are people who are so bullish about AI. So unfortunately, there's that spectrum which is widening, and what we need to realize is that this is the moment in time, 2025 and beyond, where you have to hold the bull by its horns. If you turn your back and run, you're definitely not going to survive. So the way to think about it is that it is no longer something which is not accessible to you as an individual or you as a business, no matter what size your business is. Currently, I'm working with CEOs of companies with 5 employees, 50 employees, and 500 employees. They all have access to AI. If you think about the time I was mentioning, 2005, 10, 15, we knew there was machine learning models, which then eventually became AI or artificial intelligence. And Stanford and several other universities did a lot of work in there for both educating and getting the technology out there. Now, when you think about 2022 to 2024, that was a period where generative AI became very popular. And that was all thanks to ChatGPT. The moment it was launched, somewhere around November 20 or 22nd, 2022, when ChatGPT was launched, all of a sudden, people were like, it's creating articles for me, it's creating blogs, it's creating poems. And then from there, from 2023 onwards in 2024, people started to train so that it starts to develop or render poems or blogs just like you or me. So now I'm starting to personalize generative AI. When you start to think about that level of engagement that you get from a companion or a bot, that's huge. But now as you go into, and by the way, everybody has access to generative AI, so you could go, you don't even have to pay a penny, and you have access to that kind of AI. So if people want to use that to brainstorm, to come up with ideas, to come up with new ways of doing things, they should absolutely do that, and that's one sure shot way to overcome any fear or anything that you are still thinking about. Oh my gosh, this is way out there, I'm not going to try. 2025 and beyond is going to get further from generative. So generative is now a given. Now we are getting into the realm of agentic AI or agents. AI agents are agents who are having that potential of taking something which is mundane or repetitive and doing it for you. And in some cases, they may even do things which take you longer or take humans longer by automating workflows. So as an example, generating and sending new invoices to customers, or going and following up with all the customers which have not paid their invoices for the last 90 days. So you can have the agents go out there, follow up with those customers, and you can give it a workflow. Identify the customers, call them, email them, and after 3 tries go do X, or then pull in the manager to go follow up as a human. So that's the realm we are getting into. And the more you can think about it as a resource,
Okay.
the more powerful you can be as an individual or as a business. So treat AI as your companion, and learn to leverage it. It's your companion for you to use, not for you to be afraid of.
I know it's yeah. So the more you know about it, the less fear you will have. And I don't know, because again, there are people in the Silicon Valley right now who are making the biggest decisions in the world, I have to say. So they have to tread carefully. I'm not a tech person, but I know there is something that is, for the very first time, smarter than human beings. So it is, a little scary, for people who are not that technically minded. But, like you're saying, okay, give the AI agents the repetitive work that you all do, and, lessen the workload, and maybe do more creative work where, and leadership roles, like you're saying. And
Correct.
you do deal with leadership and AI. So what are the few stress areas that you are, talking to your clients about, that these are the 3 or 4 areas that you need to take care of?
So when you think about the folks in the tech world today, Silicon Valley and across the US, around the world, the technology talent needs to significantly upgrade
Yeah.
themselves. And when we think about the business landscape between 2023 and 2024, so 2024, we saw a 500% surge in the amount of AI investments companies are
Yes.
making.
Yeah.
So that means that the kind of jobs you will start to see open up, that we are starting to see open up, are radically different from what they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. So the
Yes.
few things that the tech talent can do, as an example, number one, figure out how is it that you can use AI as your companion or augment yourself with AI. Because the folks that are using AI are going to outperform the ones
Yes.
who are not. Whether you're a marketer, product manager, even an engineer.
Yeah.
One of the platforms called Claude.ai, half or more than half of the queries there are about generating code, software code. So you can imagine how much engineers love that platform to make sure the code that is coming out is really high quality and that it can be used in the real environment.
Yeah.
So we just have
But
to
it's
be able
replacing the coders, right? That's what.
So coders just have to get smarter.
Smarter. Okay.
I wish there was a way to avoid it, but
Yeah.
then the coders just have to get super smart about what could they use to boost their productivity,
Yeah.
and what could they use to ship high quality code. And right now what I'm seeing is that some of the engineers who have 4 or 5 years of experience,
Yeah.
sometimes they can build systems and design systems which sometimes took 20-25 years of experience.
Oh.
That's how smart they've
Wow.
become. And the folks who were some of the directors of engineering who had lost their touch with writing code, they are now getting back into the game, because they're like, okay, I have a starting point now to
Yes.
generate this code,
Yeah.
and I can work with somebody to get my hands dirty once again. So they can now claim they are hands-on in their job interviews, which they couldn't earlier. So those are some things that you can start to do with AI.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you as a coach and a leadership coach, I say you are seeing the positive side of everything, and that's amazing to hear. And now, like you said, coming to the business and entrepreneur side of your job, it is a very these are transformational times, and a lot of people are losing jobs. So do you help people who are transitioning from from one job to the other?
Sure. 2024 was definitely a difficult time for the tech industry, and we saw massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Some ways or some examples that I'd like to share of people that I've helped. I helped the chief privacy officer of VMware, which was acquired by Broadcom. I helped that individual transition into a new role. I worked with somebody who was laid off by Apple. They were in a very good role, and they were caught by surprise when they were laid off.
Yeah.
I helped them start transition into another company, NVIDIA, and they just started yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited to share. It's been just a couple weeks into 2025, but I've already had 2 folks who got into NVIDIA. They started within these 2 weeks, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
So And I've also had people get into unicorn companies. These are companies who are already AI companies with 100 million or even $1 billion valuation. And that's something that I do.
Wow.
I also have people generally who might be in role become successful. As an example, I'm coaching somebody who's been at Amazon for 15 years. So I've helped them thrive in that environment and get ahead in terms of growth and promotions.
Wow.
So those are the kinds of people that I work
Amazing.
with. Those are the kinds of people that I coach. And I really enjoy that process because it requires people to pretty much reset their mindset, their skill sets. And many times when they call me, they're like, oh my gosh, it's end of the world. I don't know what to do, because layoffs are not easy.
They're not easy, mentally, physically taxing, and especially a lot of the tech force comprises of immigrants whose visa status is also in a quandary. So a lot of stress, I have to say, but wonderful. And I was talking to you earlier when we met, and you said you also help non-profits. So that is wonderful. Same thing, where can people reach you for all your services, and where can you be found?
You can just go to LinkedIn, Mahesh M Thakur, or go to my website, maheshmthakur.com, and you can follow me on Insta, Mahesh M, @Mahesh M Thakur.
Okay, and website also?
Yes. So my website is maheshmthakur.com. My LinkedIn is Mahesh M Thakur, and my Insta is @Mahesh M Thakur. And one thing I would love for you to do is subscribe to my newsletter on LinkedIn, because that will give you ongoing insights on leadership, on AI, and also the opportunities that open up in the tech industry.
Okay, that is wonderful. And this was just a random question. We both are parents. You have much younger kids, and the entire, I think, education system is changing, or learning system is changing pedagogically, if you go about it, because now most of the kids have gotten so much of information. So how do you deal with that? How can you tell your children that this is good information and this is bad information? And you can apply it to your tech class too, I guess. Anything you would like to say about that?
So information is information. Whatever gets broadly shared may show up on your feed. Now, differentiating good versus bad, there are two types. One is what is morally correct and what is not morally correct, and one is what is good to consume versus what is a distraction for you. So if I were to be dealing with my clients or even my kids, I actually explain to my kids that how Facebook actually let go of their fact checkers. And now, going forward, if you're seeing stuff on WhatsApp, Insta, Facebook, just know that it may not be true. And I just made them aware of that fact, of the fact that this is happening. The other thing that I would say to parents and to all the folks involved is that you want to make sure that you personalize your feeds. You hyper personalize what access you are having for your own self, because the mind, you have to treat your mind like a temple. Okay, the kind of thoughts you get is a function of the kind of stuff you listen to and the kind of people you surround yourself with.
Yes.
So digital content, unfortunately, we take in more digital content than meeting real people. So the kind of podcasts you listen to, the kind of feeds you are having, and there is a way to tailor it. As an example, for Apple, you can pretty much go to the podcast and subscribe. Similarly, on LinkedIn or Facebook or Insta or wherever you're spending time, you can actually go in and select the kind of things you want to see. And that's where when you like or love or comment, it learns. But if you want it to relearn, like if you want it to show you certain types of content, you can go in there and personalize it and take control.
Absolutely.
So what you consume on a day-to-day matters. Whom you follow, whom you listen to matters, because your what you listen to, what you consume becomes your thoughts. Your thoughts then become your intent, and therefore your actions.
Wonderfully answered, I'll say, Mahesh. Thank you so much for giving me your time and coming on to Off the Cuff. Any last words you'd like to say, and then we'll
Sure. The one thing I will remind us is that this is the time where you want to treat AI as your companion and as your assistant. So use it for what it's worth and get ahead both in your career and in your business.
Absolutely. And if you're not following me on Facebook, please do so under Off the Cuff with Namrita on Bolly 92.3 FM. or Namrita Johanna. I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you all, and thank you, Mahesh. This is wonderful, wonderful chatting with you.
Same here. Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Namrita.